Welcome back to CS133 Practical Programming with Python. Again, this is the last part of week 6, file manipulation. We're going to go over the practice real quick. And then, again, all you'll have is the mini project, which, again, do think about some of the video I went over, the looping, the logic. There'll be another video to show you nested loops. But really think about, how to access different files and then compare them against each other. So we'll talk about that a little bit in this one, but let's get to it. Again, hopefully you've already tried this. Here's the answers. Pause when needed. So we're going to get all the names from the file. Again, just the names. And I kind of showed you already how to do this. So we get F equals, and then read, right? Open. I'm just going to copy it because, and I imagine you would copy it too. So let's go ahead and grab the open, bounce back over here to practice, paste it. We are just reading, right? We're just reading for now. It is still called test, so that's good, right? Still called test. Enter. And again, it shrunk on me, so we'll try to make this larger. And then remember to loop through it for line in F. And then we need to split it, right? So this goes back to that concept of needing to know the string methods. So so again, items equals F dot split. We split on the commas because that's what they're separated, right? They're separate with commas. And now we can just print. The name is the first one, right? So items 0. Let's run this real quick. And it's whining about something. It always whines about something. Did I spell something wrong? It's completely feasible. Oh, right. Okay. So, right. Line dot split. Line dot split. I was thinking that's what I did wrong as soon as I went to the other page. So, F equals open. That's your standard open. We're going to loop through it. This was my thing. We moved it to line, right? So each line, as we loop through, is a line. So this line, we're going to split this line. So this line, then we'll split that line. Items, item 0 should be the names, right? So that's practice 1. In this case, we already have a little bit. I was wondering about that. All right, so in this case, we want to add one more name and age at the end, right? And then display it. So let's go ahead and we'll copy this line of code again. We'll need that. I'll full screen it. Make it bigger at least. So we have our open. We want to add to the end, so we need to add the A so we can change it. And let's go ahead and write that, right? So it's right. So F dot right. Now I didn't show this to you before, but if you do /n, it'll make a new line, right? So if you notice, the last one I had, it was just kind of went off that direction. So let's go ahead and John, comma, Doe, and this should add John Doe to the bottom of this when we run it, right? And it did. Now, of course, if we run it again, it's going to do that, but let's go ahead and read it. So print f.read, right, because we wanted to see all the files in there. And then, of course, we got to close it, f.close. So when we run this again, it should technically show us 2 John Does. I guess we could just change this to Jane then, just so it gives us something different. And when we run this, it should write it, it should read it, and since we printed, we'll print it. And there we go. Use print to write an output. That's fun. I've never seen that before. So there we go. It has John Doe. It added Jane Doe. Okay. This is why, so if you got this is why what I did last time was close this so you don't see Jane Doe over here, even though Jane Doe is there, because it's reading this wrote to it, but it's already open without. So it's open, as you can see, it's open with the John Doe. It opens with John Doe. We added Jane Doe, but it's already open, right? So this write doesn't affect F. The file changed, right? We can see the file changed. The file added Jane Doe. So it's important to understand the process of how we do this. So there's a lot of closing. So that's why if you saw the one time we did this, I'm going to close these up, that we needed to open it again. And we can just open as R this time, and we'll need to close it again. And then let's go ahead and just call this Janet. So now when we run this, we should get John Doe, Jane Doe, and Janet Doe because we are opening it, changing it, closing it, then reopening it with a new saying. And yes, there we go. So that is adding items to the page. Again, that /n is an important way to get the new line. If we don't do the new line and run this, it just adds to the end of it. So that is files. This is kind of complicated. You need to be able to loop through and understand. I'm checking this. Is this person here? Yes, Aaron already exists. So therefore, we can add a user. If we had another file with stuff. So we got to process through ways to do that. So we do have some good practice for you, as well as some worksheets to work on, because again, this is the practical part. I want you to understand how to do this. The mini project for this is not super easy as you go through and kind of think of, again, you can see we have the current employees, which I talked about, and then we have their files, and in this case, I didn't create a third file. I made it so you didn't have to go to a third file to find it. The information is there. We'll go over this. We'll probably have another video for this as well. But again, the information is already there for you. So you need to figure out these are all the new employees, including the new employees. So therefore, you got to figure out which of these is new employees, add them, and then also add files from them. Because that's the whole point of this example. The whole point of the practical programming is, reasons, right? You have your employee files along with this, but you'd have to create all the employee files. You have to fill out the basic information, and there's nothing in this really. But I mean, you could have more information, right? You can have it all filled through that. That is really the power of these scripts. So with that, this was the practice. We're going to go on to the create files after you finish up all your other little activities, getting ready for that. So with that, have a good one. And we'll see you next week probably.